We're going to be looking at the 3656 cattle car and tuning it up, replacing the vibration pads, whatever it needs. I've got 3 of them in the back shop and 1 on the layout. So I'd like to get them all in working order, and that's today's goal. Okay, today we're going to kind of be just going through these 3656 cattle cars Lionel made, and this one particular model came out around between 1950 and 1952. Another ingenious design from the engineers of Lionel. Those guys for that time period were like the Microsoft or the Apple Geek Squad, I guess today you'd say, or the Microsoft technicians. I mean, these guys really came up with some ingenious ways to get these cars to operate. There's several different operating cars that Lionel came out with. But today we're going to be working on this one to see if we can get it in some fairly decent operating condition. These things never were fully dependable. They're kind of iffy and haphazard in how they operate sometimes. Can be contrary, but then again, who can't? But got 3 of these in the back shop here. So that's today's goal, is to try to go through these things and see if we can get them layout worthy. Ordinarily, this would operate on the corral that comes along with this car, which has some plates that stick up and make contact on these little things right there in between the wheels. But today I'm just going to be using one of these 6019 remote control track sections, which will do what we need it to do. Okay, first thing is it has a screw in each end. The principle of this car is designed so that when juice is applied to one of these contacts, well, I think one's ground and one's powered, it energizes a solenoid in here. That solenoid pushes a plunger up that opens up the doors. We'll look at that in a minute. Inside's a metal ramp. At the same time that plunger pushes up, this has a little vibrating mechanism that actually vibrates this ramp slightly, just enough to make the cattle. The cows are designed with little bitty spikes on the bottom of the base plate, and those little spikes is what allows that vibration allows them cattle to move along in and back out and back onto the corral. It's set up so on the far side, the opposite side, where the cows come in and out, and that looks like it's going to need a little work, there's a sliding door. And when that door is pushed all the way open, it pushes an arm in here that blocks. And yeah, that's not quite lined up right, but it blocks the cows from being able to come out if you want to lock a carload of them in there. You just slide that door open and that holds them back. Of course, it's out of alignment with this there. The ramp should be under that. So we're going to work on that. There we go. Yeah, now it's closing properly. back open. And that's pretty much the extent of it. But let's get into this thing. Yeah, we got a screw in each end seal. Better get a tray. Hold it too far from my face to see the screw. Well, we'll just try it this way. Hopefully we won't drop them. Just about out. And it is out. Set that right there. Go to the other end. Seemed to be a little shaky this morning for some reason. There we go. Pull that one out, put it in there. Oh, we got power on that. And there's our plunger connected to the solenoid in that box. There's the, actually, when it raises up, under current, it'll pop up. Actually, it should go the other way. It should. I'll have to double check. I'm thinking the doors. Okay, no. All right. When it goes, no. Yeah, I'm right. When it goes up, the doors open. So the door should be closed in normal position, which is not sure something's not wrong here. All right, we'll get to that in a minute. The main repair on these things is right there in that little circle. There should be a little rubber grommet that kind of this sits on and helps it absorb some of that vibration. And most of these old things, they have deteriorated and fallen out. So that's where we're going to start. But to do that, we need to clean those spots up really well, because these little rubber pads are self-adhesive. It needs to have a nice clean surface. So let's see what we can find to get in that little hole. Okay, we'll try one of these little sanding sticks to start with. Swing that back. Yeah, that seems to be cleaning it up pretty good. I would tell you where I got these, except I do not remember. I've had these things for years, but they come in handy. I like to research where to get some more of these. I think my supply is getting a little low. As you can probably see, this one won't swing back as far, but You get a little rust buildup, crud in here. I think we may need to take the Dremel, clean that up first, and then polish it up with that. Okay, didn't get the Dremel out, but I've got a little rotary power tool here. I just was closer. I'll try a little brush end on there and see if it's strong enough to clean that out. Okay, I think that's about as clean as we're going to get it. Let's take this now and lightly touch up. Now the old Lionel manuals say to clean these with carbon tetrachloride or carbon tech, which as far as I know is getting pretty hard to get your hands on because of the harmful odors, cancer causing agents in it. But we're going to use a little contact cleaner in here just to make sure there's no oils or grease or any residue. Just a cotton swab over here. There real good. And this one. All right. See what we got here. I don't know why we're not. Okay, there's the principle. I knew I was overlooking something. The weight, which isn't very much, but the weight of this little shaft right here that the doors are attached to is enough to hold this little spring down, hold that plunger up. So when this is energized, it pulls that, flips that bar up, flips the doors open, as long as it's energized. And at the same time, you can't see it vibrate, I don't think, but if you put your finger on there, you can feel vibration going through that aluminum track there. So now we need our new pads. Everything looks pretty good inside as far as the wiring. It's insulated well. These here are, I think, just to, I know what those are. They're solder joints underneath there. That's what they used instead of, before they had heat shrink tubing. Just a piece of woven material to slide over that to protect those bare spots. But everything seems to be going well. I'm going to take a rag and clean that a little bit. Okay, just a little dusty in there. Nothing bad, not even much to mar the rag. Coffee time. Okay. Now, to get this to operate at its best performance, it has to be perfectly lined there, so the plunger is free to move and the gates don't restrict the doors, or the ends, I mean, of the channel. They put little holes in there that should line up accordingly with the, of course that hole will be covered, but with the center of this pad that we're about to put in. So let's get one of those. Alright. We've got these, just bought these. I had some somewhere and I can't turn them up, so I bought these from a, don't have the name on there, but off of eBay. I think it's called Trains in the Attic. I don't know if you can see those little dots on there, but there's 12 little self-adhesive pads in there that should push out. There we go. There's one. Again, the old manual says to put a little carbon tape on the bottom of that pad so that it sticks, but they're made now with self-adhesive on them, so I don't believe that's necessary. And try to get it centered right over that hole best I can. And there's our pads in place. You see those? The main thing we want to make sure is that that's sitting to where that plunger can easily come up and down out of there. And it probably wouldn't hurt to put a tiny drop of oil on that plunger. Just I'll lift that up. Just a tiny bit on there. Okay. And I think that's all we're going to need. Let's see, let's check these couplers while we're right here. Snap them shut. Pull them down over the power is on. There we go. Opened up. Opened up. All right, they're working fine. Before we reinstall this body, I think we're gonna give it a little bath. It's not too bad, but it could stand to be cleaned up while it's off. I'm gonna put this in the sink and just put silly metal on there. We need to lubricate that a little bit too. A little bit from that wall. Yeah, we'll do that after we dry it off. It's getting wet here. Toothbrush and a little soap. Hand soap is fine. Soap's about to run out, but I think it's going to be good enough. So easy over the lettering. I mean, this could have been made in 1950, before I was born. That's a long time ago. Okay. Not a bad looking little car once it's cleaned up. A little bit of rust up there, but we're not going to worry about that. If I was a perfectionist, I would pull them off, sand them, and touch them up, but then they wouldn't be original. Just going to water out them slats, and we'll spray a little this cleaner right on that actuator, just so that it don't rust. It doesn't draw up any water on it. And I believe I'm going to use some graphite over here for behind this slide. Pull him out a little bit. There we go. It's puffing. Oh, too much. A little bit on these door channels here. Oh, don't need those door channels done. Need these done. That door is a fixed door that doesn't move. Pull off the excess, because that stuff is toxic to electrical because it is metal. particles. Graphite is a conductor. We don't want that all over the place. Alrighty. Let's set this bad boy back on here. Ramp in there. We got a ways to go there. There we go. Except it seals out. There. All right. See if we can manage to hold on to these screws. That one in place. Okay. Other end. In place. And if one wondered, they could touch up these stirrups and brake wheels in cotton good shape. Alright, let's get this back on the track. Low power. Get us some cows. And let's see what we got here. Door should open. What am I missing here? Oh, wrong spot. There we go. I think this is the entrance side, and actually this may be the entrance side. Door shut. Yep, door is binding. Oh yeah. Could be up over that. There we go. Wants to drop in behind that ramp. That ramp should be down a little bit. I think I told you opposite that when that door is closed, that blockage comes down over the ramp so the cows can't go in. When it's open, it's beyond it and leaves a clear path. And there he goes, slowly making his way in. not vibrating as much as they generally do, but here he comes. He's a slow cow. Come on, boy. Yeah. A little. Anyway, we may have to work a little bit on the, see why it's not vibrating as much, but there you have it. Outside of a little less vibration than it should have. We're going to call this one done, and got 2 to go.